Wednesday, which is not usually the time that we do this, but we are waiting for that green old light, big bopper. Thanks for coming. Hey guys, how you going? So another BKRsport. We are here as we get into our tips for round number 12. I'm excited about this one because I've taken a little bit of a break over this last weekend just to kind of chill out a little bit. Obviously, the vlog still came out. I went down to Newcastle, had a great time there with my friends, and even though the result wasn't a great time, the fact of the matter is that, you know, that's the beauty about what I do. You know, getting to travel around the country, support my team, and although sometimes results don't go your way, the fact of the matter is that, you know, I've been to Newcastle so far this season, Townsville, you know, I've been to Sydney multiple times, and Sydney again this weekend. So, you know, it's all good fun. It's good fun, and we're having a good time, and we're only in ninth position for the Gold Coast Titans, so we're not too far off the pace whatsoever, son. We are rocking and we are rolling. But if you guys don't know what this video is, we go through every single game, analyze all the games, give our look at the team lineups and whatnot. Usually this will come out on Tuesday, but again, like I said, throughout the weekend, I'm kind of taking a little bit of a, you know, relax and then really fire up again. And that's exactly what we are doing today. We'll go through every single game, all the team lineups, give you my prediction, and then we'll go to the chat and see what you guys are saying as well. This week, guys, the bye is going to be the New Zealand Wars, baby, the New Zealand Warriors. So they will be very, very happy with that one, considering they are, I think, let's just quickly have a look at the ladder here just briefly. They are in 8th position. So the Titans would need to win by 23 points over the Bulldogs. I like it. But the Titans, if they would beat the Dogs by over 23 points, they would go above the Warriors, and they'd both go on to 14 points there. But outside of that, if the Titans don't win by that much, then the Warriors won't be going anywhere because the Roosters are minus 65, which is a crazy statement to make, to be honest with you. To say that the Roosters are minus 65 points differential, I didn't think the Roosters were going to be as good as people thought pre-season, but I never would have thought that they'd be on minus 65 points differential come round 12. If you guys are watching this after we've gone live, obviously we are live right now talking to people and going through it, but if you are watching this afterwards, there is timestamps for each individual game, so if you want to click through to an individual game, I will be streaming every game this weekend except for, actually no, we will be streaming every single game this weekend because Antonio will be streaming for you guys live by himself on Sunday for the Titans versus Bulldogs game when I'm in Sydney. And the other one is the Raiders versus the Manly game, so he'll be there for that one. But guys, obviously hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. Let's get to the chat, let's see what you guys are saying just before we start to tip the Titans by 50 million points. I like that. That would be a very good start because we'd need to have that start to prevent the comeback. Marcel Musa says, I reckon Dragons beat the Roosters. Not gonna lie, we'll get into that. And you're a Dragons fan, so your opinion does not matter in regards to that one. Daz mate says, member for 12 months. I don't know why it said member for 12. I don't know what I'm talking about right now, but he's a member for 12 months. 1 year. Get around the big fella. Says, I'm the 85th captain for the Tigers this season. Tigers have had 84 captains, and you are the 85th one, even though you are actually a Bulldogs fan, mate. So we can't be friends this week, sir, Daz, mate. We cannot. We cannot be friends this week, sir. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to stop with the old talking. We're gonna have to start doing the old ignoring, Daz, mate, until Sunday. Jay says Blaze having a pre-stream poo. It helps settle his nerves. Something wrong with you, Jay. There's something wrong with you. I think there's something wrong with that bloke, and that's. I don't even know why I said I think, because there is something wrong with him. John McGrath says go to Mighty Knights. Dad says game of the year this week on Sunday. It is game of the year this week on Sunday when the Titans slap it up like slapper. Said Warriors robbed by the bye. It's a good point. You know, Warriors fans probably will feel like they've been robbed by the bye, but then again, we don't have to hear them complain for 1 week, which is beautiful, which is nice. I should use this week as my rest week, to be honest with you. Ryson says, hey, how are you today? Going fantastic, mate. Absolutely fantastic. Never had a bad day in my life. X-Factor says, can all these people thinking Broncos upset Panthers go bet on them so I can get some value for the Panthers? I don't think Broncos upset, but we'll get into that game in a bit. We'll get into that one. That's going to be a good game tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to streaming that, actually. Brighton says, are you doing an Origin teams prediction? I should do it. I really should. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it. Maybe if I stream... Oh, I really should, to be completely honest with you, because I'm not going to be here to do the Sunday post-matches Origin stream that I would normally do to talk about the team lineups coming out, which was really good last season, but obviously this year I will be in Sydney and will not be able to do it. Unless I do it, no, I won't have time, because I'm actually busy after the game, so I will not be able to do that one. John McGrath says, KP back to form. He's played one game, brother. Rice then says, hey, Brighton, only now getting the chance, but I was watching a past stream and saw that one of your gifted membership went to me. Ah, get around him. So thanks So thank you so much for that. And sorry it took so long to say thanks. You should be sorry, but also you should be, you're a good man for thanking him. Star Wars Fanboy says, unlucky this week, Blaze, although Titans going to lose 2 in a row. Just keep on going strong like you always do. Why don't you shut your dirty little mouth? We're not going to lose 2 in a row, mate. That is actually not something the Titans have ever done. We've never lost 2 in a row. We've actually undefeated since 2007. So, Bulldogs fans, you're a little bit delusional there. Luke says, are you going to the Dogs-Titans game? I am going to every single game this season, man. I've been at all 10 so far, with one of them being the bye. So, yes, I will be at the Dogs game on Sunday. Then I'm going to be attending the bye next week right here in this chair. I'll be attending the bye. And then we've got the Rabbitohs at home, which will be a good one there to slap down on Latrell Mitchell. Mevita says, I'm kind of surprised the majority of people voted for the Broncos versus Panthers as the upset match. I thought it would be more South versus Para, even though I know that Rabbits had that slow start last week. John McGrath says, what do you think about the Titans game on the weekend? Shush. Olivia Reed, remember for 2 months, get around you. Olivia says, is that BKR? That is me. I am here. Yeah, that is... I haven't put on one of those fake faces today. That is actually myself, BKR, correct. But then again, even if I did put one of those fake faces on, you wouldn't know. Willie Kemba says, Walsh or Ponga at fullback, my brother, who would you prefer? It's Ponga every day of the week, loyalty, and that's what happens every single year for Origin for Queensland. They are loyalty over form, and form-wise, Ponga is still going to make it, regardless of what everyone says in regards to Walsh. Walsh is not a good enough defender on the Origin landscape, in my personal opinion. Ryson says, Titans going to slap the Dogs. Sorry, Daz. Don't say sorry to Daz. Don't say sorry to him. No, sir. No, sir. Sorry, I had to make sure. I haven't seen it in a couple of days. Hey, listen, can I have like a little break or two, you know, occasionally? Like, just let me have a little bit of a break. But we're not going to have a break right now because we're getting right into the first game of the weekend, which is tomorrow night. We will be streaming this one. It's going to be a good one. It is the Brisbane Broncos taking on the Penrith Panthers here. Yuggera and Turbel is Indigenous round for everyone who doesn't know. Yuggera and Turbel is where the Broncos are from, and Darug is the Panthers one. I'm going to do my best to pronounce these, but you know, like I said, I'm going to do my best. The Broncos do come into this game with $3.10 underdogs, with Panthers being $1.37 favourites there. Broncos obviously come into this game. Geez, because I've taken this little bit of a break, I've completely... No, that's right, that was the Storm. They played the Storm. And look, I think they got fairly done over there. I think the Storm was a better team. I think that obviously the referees weren't great, and the referees have been dropped since then. But overall, the Storm had 3 tries that I believe were legitimate tries taken off them there, and it just wasn't a great look for the game in regards to the rest. So I wouldn't take too much note of that game if I was the Brisbane Broncos, simply because although the Storm was a bad team and deserved to win, in my personal opinion, there were dud calls on both teams there, and the game wasn't able to flow as what you would normally see. So it's unfortunate that Adam Reynolds got injured, which you'll see today. He won't be playing against the Panthers in this one. But yeah, look, I don't think that game is too much of a read for the Broncos, but it does also show a lot in regards to when Reynolds goes off the team. They looked dreadful without him, and again, he's not playing tomorrow. The Panthers, on the other hand, obviously they come into this game after absolutely slapping down the Roosters, I think with 48-4 or something ridiculous. Gave us the old blue ball on the Fitty bomb. Very, very close there. The Panthers, they still look, for me, like they still look like there's still something that's wanting there. And the Roosters, that proved a lot more about the Roosters to me than did the Panthers. Like, I guess it was a bit of best of both worlds. But overall, I still think that game really showed where the Roosters are at this season and that they're really struggling overall. Maybe there's too many cooks in the kitchen and just don't seem to translate into the 2023 season as a lot of people expected. I saw this coming, not to the extent of it, but I did see a downer year coming. I got absolutely slaughtered for putting the Roosters in 5th when everyone said they were going to be 1st or 2nd, and they're now in 10th with a minus 65 points differential or whatnot. So for me, with the Panthers-Roosters game, I did see more of the Roosters in that one rather than the Panthers, but overall, the Panthers have started to win a couple now, and realistically, they should be believing to win this game without one of the bigger players for the Brisbane Broncos. Moving into the ins here for the Broncos, Brendan Piakura, Jock Madden, Jordan Pereira, Keenan Palacia, and Xavier Wilson come in with Adam Reynolds, the big out there for the Bronx. Reece Walsh, the fullback, with Jesse Arthurs and Selwyn Cubbo on the wings. Tony Staggs and Herbie Farmwife are the centres. Got Ezra Members, the 5'8", Jock Madden as the halfback. Ooh, yikes. Thomas Flegler and Payne Haas are the front rowers, with Billy Walters as the number 9. You got Kurt Catewell as the captain. He's the back rower alongside Jordan Ricky, and Patrick Carrigan is the lock. Corey Pakes, Corey Jansen, Cubby Hetherington, and Martin Tapau are the interchange, with Dean Mariner, Keenan Palacia, Brendan Piakura, Xavier Willison, and Jordan Pereira as the reserves. Look, pretty straightforward Broncos team, just minus, obviously, Adam Reynolds, which is a massive, massive loss because he is the director of that ship, and, wow, that is a big out there for them. Going up against the Panthers For the Panthers now, Chris Smith, Jack Cogger, Luke Garner and Tom Jenkins come in with no one being out. The fullback is Dylan Edwards with Sunia Toruva and Brian To'o on the wings. Tyron Peachy, Stephen Crichton are the centres. Peachy's been playing pretty well recently. And obviously for Dylan Edwards, he's going to be trying to give it his best crack to get that number 1 spot for New South Wales. But I do still genuinely believe that Tedesco is absolutely the guy you give it to. Like, it's how Origin works. You don't take away your captain for New South Wales and the Australian captain just because, the Roosters haven't been going too well. I don't think that it's been necessarily him. I just think that overall, the Roosters haven't been going well. So I definitely would not be putting Edwards in over Tedesco personally. 5'8", Jerome Luai. 7 is Nathan Cleary. He's the captain with Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris as the front rowers. Mitch Kenny is the hooker. Scott Sorensen and Zach Hosking are the back rowers with Isaiah Yeo as the lock. Sonny Luke, Lindsay Smith, Liam Martin, and James Salmon at the interchange with Jack Cogger, Luke Garner, Tom Jenkins, Chris Smith, and Liam Henry as the reserves. That Panthers team's pretty solid, and also, obviously, a lot of these guys are going to be really pushing for that Origin spot. This is Origin season. A lot of this team obviously have the ability to play in Origin. You've got Edwards there, you've got Crichton there, you've got Brian To'o, Jerome Luai, Nathan Cleary, not Fisher-Harris, Scott Sorensen. I know he's a New Zealander, isn't he? Zach Hosking, obviously, no. Isaiah Yeo, yes. Liam Martin, another one there off the bench. So there's a lot of players here for the Panthers are going to be really playing for that Origin spot, whilst for the Broncos, Reece Walsh will be out for it. Selwyn Cobbo, I guess, will have to give it a really good solid crack. I wouldn't say Staggs, he's not in the equation for me. Payne Haas is definitely, obviously, he'll get a front row spot. There's no matter what. He'll have a crack again. Paddy Carrigan as well, because Paddy Carrigan isn't as much of a lock as everyone has been imagining. And yeah, that's about it. So for me, I'm going to go the Panthers here. I'm going to go the Panthers. I know this is at Suncorp, and I know the Broncos should be up for it, but it's just such a huge loss there with no Adam Reynolds. It just really is. It's such a huge loss, and I don't know how they're going to be able to cope against a rampaging Penrith team right now. There's a reason why they're $1.37 favourites, even though they're away. And the Broncos did beat the Panthers in round 1 this year in Penrith by 1 point, but a long time between drinks, that was 2.5 months ago now. That was literally 2.5 months ago. So it's not as it's definitely not the same situation that they both were in at that time. So I'm going to take the Panthers here. I could see a world where they get blown out. I could see a world where they get beaten 13 plus the Broncos, but I'm going to go 1-12 because it is at Suncorp, and I'll give the Broncos at least their due credit, in my personal opinion. Star Wars Fanboy says, no Reynolds, no chance, Pen ref 13 plus. Max, does anyone know when OT's back? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Because he came back and then he's gone back out. Mevda said, I was more sad of Coates not scoring his try at the end than anything else. Yeah, well, that was another one that should have been a try. Slavis says, Reno saving himself the embarrassment this week. Like I was saying to a friend of mine, I think that I still probably would have tipped the Panthers in this game, even with Reynolds playing. But I do think that it would be a real toss of the coin if Reynolds was playing. But the Panthers are in some form, obviously coming off that huge win against the Roosters. It'll give them a lot of good confidence there. And the Panthers are a good team. No, the Panthers are a good team. I don't know why anyone ever thought they weren't. Tilchunga says, it's surprising how many people are dropping Teddy from Origin. Yeah, people who don't get Origin are dropping Teddy from Origin. Also, people who don't get Origin are dropping Callum Ponga from Origin. Brian Robbins says, the guy did nothing in his debut versus South a couple of weeks ago. Medvedev says, what do you think of Matt at halfback? Judging by reaction, I think it's not too good. Yeah, I don't believe it. South is a hard one to go by, Brian, because South are a very, very good team. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jock Madden. I don't think there's much there for me. We'll see a lot more of him this week. But again, like he's had to come into 2 very good teams in the Rabbitohs and now the Panthers. It's very hard to get a good read on him. But with that being said, get thrown to the fire. Hopefully, learn from that Rabbitohs game and can kick on here. Sorensen was fantastic last week, saved by Supercoach. The fact that you have Sorensen, not many people had him at all, but well done for having him, because that was a big play. I think got like 185 or something like that. Extract says, I really want to see Sonny Luke become a 60-minute hooker for Panthers come the back end of the season. I understand he's not the biggest for the defensive line, but I think our middles help him out enough. Yeah, absolutely. The hooker role is probably the biggest, iffy mark for the Panthers this season by a long way. Sonny Luke is the guy who comes off the bench for like 20 minutes at the end of the game, and you've got Mitch Kenny, who I just don't think is that great of a hooker. I think that losing up his psychology salve is the reason why the Panthers probably won't go 3-peat this year, even though they're playing really well. I think when it comes down to it, at the end of the season, you're going to see a couple of other teams with some really good hookers that are going to really push the Panthers all the way and maybe beat them. So yeah, I think that the biggest loss for the Panthers is clearly their hooker, and I still think it's relevant and significant, despite the fact they just come off a big win against the Roosters, who the Roosters have not been good this season. So everyone's looking at the Roosters as if they're last season or the year before or whatever, but the Roosters just haven't been good this season. They haven't. Dasmate says Broncos have also been a little bit of a bogey side of the Panthers the last couple of years, but Panthers 13 plus. Well, thank you for giving us that one, Dasmate, in the first half. But the second half, you said Panthers 13 plus, and I like it. I like it. John McGrath, I think Panthers want revenge. There's also that option. There is definitely also that option. Seb Watson said anything else been happening with the Payne, Haas and Cleary links? It doesn't matter. Scott Johnson says, I hope Panthers win. Aussie Bar says, I'm telling you guys, Broncos will win. I'm going to guarantee that you're a Broncos fan. Harry said, I think the Broncos are now going to drop off from the top and finish in 7th or 8th at the end of the year. Mate, stop it. You're talking dirty to me. You're talking dirty to me in rugby league terms. You are talking dirty to me, son. Scott Johnson says, Broncos, it's near origin. What does that mean? Like, what do you mean, Broncos, it's near origin? Again, like I've gone through it, Reece Walsh obviously going to play out of his skin for the Queensland selection. Staggs, I don't think is in the equation, but I guess he might turn it on. Selwyn Cobbo will try to turn it on. SMM's not in the equation. Flegler is a bit iffy anyway, realistically. Payne Haas obviously will play out of his skin regardless of origin. Kurt Catewell, yeah. Paddy Carrigan, yeah. But in the same sense, this Panthers team is just so good. Like, look at the team. Like, the Panthers team is just so good. So I'm not too sure why you'd be saying that because it's near origin, the Broncos are going to win this game. But, you know, so be it. If you want to take the Broncos, go for it, bro. And they've got some good odds. They're over 3-1 to win. So you'll get some good money on that one. But okay, let's move on now to the Friday night game. The early game, which is the St. George Illawarra Dragons taking on the Sydney Roosters here. Now, obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. The Dragons, they're $2.75 are underdogs to the Roosters, $1.45. I find that quite crazy. The Dragons are $2.75, considering they're 0-6 in their last 6 games. They are the Darrawal and Ewan group there for the Dragons, and the Roosters are the Yora and Gadigal for the Tooksters. But yeah, the Roosters are heavy favourites for this game. I think there should be heavier favourites for this game, especially with the bounce back factor after their really big drubbing from the Penrith Panthers. Dragons coming to this game after I tipped them last week. I thought they were going to have their game, their time in the light after going 0-5, and they still struggled to the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, you know, people are starting to believe they're a big team again. They've beaten the Roosters, who have struggled, and also they've beaten the Dragons, who are 0-5 going to that game. And now the Cowboys get the Tigers, so it's like people are going to see them probably go 3-0 and start thinking they're the back. And it's like, no, let's wait to see them against some of these other teams before we start saying that. But yeah, the Dragons just didn't look great. You know, the Dragons don't look great. There's a chance they can win this game in a rivalry game, but overall it's a real struggle to tip the Dragons considering how poorly they're playing. But there are a couple of big ins there for the team that deserve to be in there, and this is a home game here for the Dragons at Netstrata Jubilee. Roosters, obviously, like I said, got pumped by the Panthers, so they're going to really be looking for that bounce back factor. I guess they're going to get Egan Butcher back, but overall, there's just nothing really to like about the Roosters right now. They just don't seem like they've been fantastic by any means and have really been a struggle to watch overall. It really has been disappointing to watch the Roosters this season. Unless you're a Rabbitohs fan, then you're probably enjoying the demise of the Sydney Roosters this year. But then again, the Sydney Roosters haven't been that great for a few years now, realistically. You know, people still have that nostalgic feeling of when, you know, late 2010s, realistically, when they were very good. They've really kind of dropped off these last couple of years, and this year has just been a really big culmination of all of that, realistically. But again, bounce back factor from the Panthers game. Now, Francis Molo, Jacob Little, Jaden Hunt, Zag Lomax, the big fella, Zane Musgrove, they come back in. Zaggy boy. I did see him at the Knights versus Titans game because he was playing in the New South Wales Cup game there. And Billy Burns is out for the team. Tyrell Sloan's the fullback with Matthew Finai and Macaulay Ravalawa on the wings. Moses Sully and Zaggy boy Lomax is the centres there. Tautau Amon is the 5'8" with Ben Hunt as the halfback. He's the captain. Jack Bellin and Blake Laurie are the front rowers, with Jacob Little as the number 9. Jack Bird, Jaden Sewer is the back row, and then Michael Muller is the lock. Jaden Sullivan, Toby Couchman, Ben Murdoch-Masila, and Josh Kerr are the interchange, with Francis Molo, Moses Mbai, Jaden Hunt, Zane Musgrove, and Max Finai on the reserves there. Also, forgot to mention at the beginning of this that when a team sacks a coach, usually the team plays really well the next week. Usually. Not all the time. Sometimes that team can also get blown off the absolute park by the other team. But obviously Anthony Griffin's gone now, which has been a long time coming. I don't know how this impacts the Dragons team. It could be a massive negative or it could be a massive positive there. Sometimes team players obviously play out of their skin to really prove themselves to the new coach and to the organisation to obviously keep them there. But then again, right now, who's really wanting to stay at St. George, to be completely honest with you? Moving over to the Sydney Roosters, you've got Egan Butcher, Junior Bolger, Nathan Brown, Sandon Smith and Tyrone May coming in, with Joey Manu going out. Big loss there. James Tedesco is the captain, the fullback, with Corey Allen and Jackson Paulo on the wings. You got Joseph Suoliti and Billy Smith in the centres. Again, still a very underwhelming backline there for the Roosters, considering. You got Luke Keary as a 5'8", Drew Hutchison as the halfback, which is not necessarily something you really want to be seeing there. With Jared Warrior-Hargraves and Lindsay Collins in the front row. Brandon Smith is the number 9. Egan Butcher, Satili Tuapunua is the back row, and then Victor Radley is the lock. You got Jake Turpin, Nat Butcher, Angus Crichton, and Matthew Lodge interchange, with Sandon Smith, Fletcher Baker, Nathan Brown, Junior Polgar, and Tyrone May as the reserves. Well, this game's actually really not easy to tell, because you look at that team, it's not great. Like Drew Hutchison there, Jackson Paulo, Corey Allen wings is like Billy Smith centre. I know he had a pretty decent game against the Panthers, but Luke Keary's not that great this season. Brandon Smith's not been looking like a really solid Roosters prospect. Egan Butcher comes in, which is nice, and I like Tupanua. But overall, it just seems a little bit disappointing. I don't know who to... This is a 50-50 game for me. I know the odds really suggest the Roosters should be heavy favourites here, and I came into this game and into this prediction thinking that I was going to tip the Roosters pretty easily. But I'm kind of maybe leaning Dragons. I don't know. Especially at Cogra. And after 0-6, like, will they lose again? I guess if I tip them again, I'm never tipping them again. I don't care if they're taking on the Blacktown Workers under 19s. I don't think I'd ever tip them again if they lost. If I tipped them and they lost. I'm going to go the upset. I'm going to go the upset. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go the upset. I'm going to take the Dragons. I'm going to take the Dragons there. I'm really not confident in that game at all. But I just don't like that Roosters halves pairing for starters. And I just think that their team is super underwhelming. I do. And I think that the back line of the Dragons has potential. Tyrell Sloan, Fianai Suli, Lomax, Ravalawa. Because again, like, everyone knows my problem with Lomax, but that's completely separate to this. Lomax is still a good player. Like, he was the scapegoat for this Dragons team because he missed his kicks, because he's a dreadful kicker, and I absolutely called that out. And the guy couldn't kick for shit. He couldn't kick to save his life. Muppet kicker. Absolute Muppet kicker. And Muppet of a bloke. But in regards to an actual player, like in playing in the game, like, he isn't as bad as people were making that to be. Just needs to stop doing the flick pass to Rosette, at Seabus Stadium rather than Cogra. But I think he's a good enough player. So I think that backline's got a lot of potential, and same with Ben Hunt and Telltale Moan. So I'm going to take the Dragons here. I'm going to take the upset, even though I'm not confident at all. I would love to see what you guys have to say. Aussie Bar says, no, I'm not a Southpaw. I'm a Southpaw. I just think Panthers will lose this one. Fair enough. Cam says Dragons win. And Memphis says, Dragons and Chooks. I don't know what's going to happen this match. Yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen this match. Roosters should win, but I'm just not convinced by that back line. Makes me wonder how Dragons' morale will be after the week that's happened. Yeah, it can either be a massive positive or a massive negative. It's a toss of coin in the game, this one, really. Lucas says, wonder how Hunt will play this week with him seeming to want out. I guess that would make him play better because he wants to go to a good team and get a good, contract. And he will get a good contract. But the guy is also, I think, 32 years old. So it's not like he's going to get a massive, massive contract. But he could definitely get a 2-year contract that'll, see him out. If I'm the Titans, there's obviously the option there. Dolphins, the Cowboys are another one. As Chatty Townsend doesn't necessarily look as up to it as he has been, but still Chatty Townsend does his job, realistically. The Bulldogs have been saying, like, any team would benefit from Ben Hunt. So I think that he's going to play well, as we know what Ben Hunt can do there. But, yeah, it's a hard one to see how the Dragons will go in this game for sure. Brighton says, Lomax is in. Don't know why the Chooks are $1.45. I really don't know why it's so close. Aussie Bar says Dragons versus Roosters. Wow, who knows? I'll go Roosters. Yeah, fair enough, man. And by drop, get my stomach out. Says, there you go. Harry says, are you going to another NRL 2023 NRL season prediction, like the one you did at the end of round 5? Yeah, probably round 15, bro. I think it's too quickly just do 5 rounds, realistically. So I'll do round 15. And I don't have the time to do it right this second as well, considering I took a bit of a break over the weekend. Memphis says, I kind of want the Dragons to win because it's really hard seeing them lose all the time. I just want them to at least win something. You're a Cowboys fan. Why do you care? John McGrath says, Paulo is a worry. He looks back to his Rabbits form. Yeah, he hasn't been great the last couple of weeks. I had him as Supercoach at the start of the season and got rid of him at the perfect time, and I'm kind of glad that I did. Marcel Musa says, Tigers won after 6 in a row losses last year, so maybe we can do it. Maybe. I think they were like 8 in a row this year, or 7 in a row this year before they beat the Panthers. Scott Johnson says, Dragons have 4 players that don't want to be there, including Ben Hunt. Dragons have 17 players that don't want to be there, including everyone. Rice says, is it just me, or has Sloan gone downhill since the Bulldogs game? Yeah, Sloan hasn't been great the last couple of weeks for sure, but this is definitely a game that he can do well in. There's definitely nothing to say that he couldn't kill this game against the Roosters. Tony says, Dragons on this week. Tip Chunky says, I'm tipping the Chooks, but I can definitely see an upset happening. And John McGrath says, when in doubt, go for the home team. Yeah, it's a good kind of notion to have there. To go for the home team if you're doubting, but it's the Dragons, and they're 0-6 right now in the last 6 games, and have lost, besides the Cowboys game, by less than 4 points every game, and a lot of them by 2, and I think 1 of them or 2 of them by 1. So the Dragons definitely don't give me a lot of confidence, that's for sure, and I don't think that anyone can argue that they should be giving anyone any confidence. But let's move on now to the next game, which is the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Parramatta Squeals. Parramatta Eels here. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Need to come back for that one. With the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they are $1.37 here, with the Parramatta Squeals being $3.10. Rabbitohs are the Eora and Gadigal tribe, with also the Eels being the Darug and Parramattagal. Parramattagal. There you go. See, that sounds like what I call them. That sounds like I call them. So there you go. Get around the Eels there. But the Rabbitohs are $1.37. They are heavy favourites in this game. And I think that the Eels should be shorter, but I also think that the Rabbitohs should be heavy favourites here. I think they should be heavy favourites regardless. However, the Eels should be shorter odds, considering that they have obviously been struggling recently, but they've still got a really good team lineup that should be doing a lot better than they have been. So this has ambush written all over it. But with that being said, when you've got as heavily as an Indigenous group of the South Sydney Rabbitohs, it's going to be very difficult to take them down on the Indigenous round, where I don't believe they've lost a game. And I think I saw on the Cast Patrol there was a stat saying that I think they've scored 32 points in every Indigenous round so far this season, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I think the Rabbitohs, they're obviously very good. Indigenous round is a big round for them, and it'll be hard to tip against them, especially when they are playing as well as they have been. The Rabbitohs are they're in first position right now. You just can't stop. They beat the Tigers. They weren't great for 70 minutes against the Tigers, but they came home really strongly in the end. The Tigers have obviously been getting up for a lot of teams. Their defense was pretty good against the Rabbits, but just weren't good attacking-wise at all, the Tigers. And the Rabbitohs were able to put them away late on there. I didn't see, I just didn't see the Tigers win that game, and they didn't, obviously. Whilst the Parramatta Eels, they come to this game after just really not being great at all. They're 14th right now, obviously coming off a loss against the Titans the other week, which was a fantastic montage for me, but not for them. And they sit in the bottom 4 right now, coming off a grand final, which is pretty huge. Pretty huge to be as low as they are, and they just are not playing good footy. But again, have a good enough team to win this game if they're up for it. Now, the Rabbitohs, they're obviously the home team here at Allianz Stadium. Their ins here are Ben Lovett, Daniel Suluka-Fafita, Dean Hawkins, Peter Mamouzelos, and Shakai Mitchell. Comes back in the team. Great to see that for my super coach, because I've still got him on the bench there. I don't think he'll be in, but he's there or thereabouts. Jed Cartwright is out. Trell Mitt, he's the fullback today, with Alex Johnson and Tane Milne on the wings. Campbell Graham and Isaiah Tass are the centres. You got Cody Walker as the 5'8", Lachlan Ilias as the halfback there, with Tavita Totola and Hame Sele as the front rowers. Damien Cook is the hooker. You got Michael Cheekham and Jacob Host as the back row. Cameron Murray is the lock. He's captain. I have to bite the bullet on the old Cameron Murray this week in Supercoach, I do. But then again, he's probably going to have a killer week in Supercoach now. He's probably going to have it, but I just have to bite the bullet, man. I have to bite the bullet, man. I haven't bit the bullet for weeks, and keep not very impressive at all. Blake Taff, Jai Arrow, Liam Knight, and Daniel Suluka-Fafita are the interchange, with Ben Lovett, Richard Kenner, Peter Mamouzelos, Shakai Mitchell, and Dean Hawkins as the reserves there. So, Rabbitohs, pretty strong team there. Should be realistically winning any game with that team that they do have there, or obviously being extremely competitive, regardless of who they are playing. Moving over to the Eels now, the Parramatta Squeals. Dejan Arce, Kai Rodwell, Luca Moretti, Mitchell Moses, and Sean Russell come in. Big in there for Mitchell Moses, with Sean Lane being out. You got Clint Gutherson as the captain, he's fullback, with Mike Arcivo, Dosoviti man, and Sean Russell on the wings. Bailey Simonson and Will Penasini are the centres. Dylan Brown is the 5'8", Mitchell Moses is the halfback, with Wiremu Greig and Junior Paulo on the front row. Josh Hodgson as the number 9. Bryce Cartwright and Andrew Davey, the back row. Jermaine Hopgood is the lock. Ofahiki Ogden, Brendan Hands, Ryan Madison, and Makahesi Makatoa are the interchange, with the reserves being Jake Arthur, Hayes Dunster, Kai Rodwell, Dejan Arce, and Luca Moretti. I'm going to take the Rabbitohs here. I'm going to take the Rabbitohs, because I think they're going to get a loss in a couple of weeks' time. But I'm going to take the Rabbitohs here. I think that the Indigenous round means too much to them. with the likes of Trell Mitt in the team, Cody Walker in the team. There's just so many guys here that have such a deep connection to the round that we're experiencing, and also they've obviously had a lot of players in the past that have come through massive Indigenous representation. So I feel like for me, it's just going to mean too much for the Rabbitohs, and although this will be detrimental to the Eels season, I just struggle to see them being able to get over the top of the team that's completely the most informed team in the competition right now, and it's not even arguable. So yeah, I'm going to take the Rabbitohs here. I'm going to take it by 1 or 12. I can see a world where they win this game 13 plus. I can see a world where they come out and absolutely crush it. And again, as I said, there's a stat that they've scored like 32 points in every single Indigenous round. Again, that's because of how much it means to them realistically. But yeah, let's just hope that in a couple of weeks' time we can see a team knock them off. Yeah, let's see. At home after a bye for the old Gold Coast Titans, Squills are in all sorts, Brian Robertson says. Yeah, Squills are in all sorts. They are. They are really, really struggling at the moment. Mother says, where is that paratroll Hayden? I want Hodgson staying on the field for the whole game. Bloke's a game changer. Deary me. Dasmate says the two worst teams in the comp is going to be a draw. To be fair, mate, drawing this season is not that bad. You actually don't mind a draw in 2023 because of how close the season is. So for the Eels, that would actually probably benefit them considering their points differential. And for the Rabbitohs, no, that wouldn't benefit them. But it would benefit the Eels for sure. Because with points differential this season, it's going to come in a massive clutch come towards the end. Rice says, how can Brad Arthur look at this team every week and think, yes, we need Hodgson to be complete? It's a great question. Like, Hodgson, if he didn't do his ACL or Achilles or whatever it was in the season last year for the Raiders before he signed, I think, he did sign, and then I think a week or two afterwards is when he did it. He probably would have been a better player, but he just hasn't come back from his injury well. I think Brendan Hands should be the 9, even though I don't think Brendan Hands is that fantastic either way. I just think that people are really begging for him to come in because how Hodgson has just not been performing for the Eels. Someone says, Blaze, mate, do you reckon I back in Reece Walsh, Dylan Edwards for my Supercoach this week, thinking Edwards and Panthers coming off that huge win? I would go with Dylan Edwards because I think but Reece Walsh. No, we'll go Dylan Edwards. The Panthers are still the best defensive team in the competition, so I'll go Dylan Edwards because they'll go up against the Broncos side that has leaked some points recently. Harry M says, I think Brad Arthur will be sacked soon considering how badly they've gone this season so far. That's incorrect. He just re-signed at the beginning of this year, I believe. I'm pretty certain he did it. If I'm wrong, Eels fans, let me know. But I'm pretty certain that he re-signed for a couple more years. Sue says Gunther was actually way worse than Arthur and didn't cop as much. Arthur, yeah. If you guys follow me on Instagram at BKRsport, you would know what I had to say about Jacob Arthur last night. I spoke about him and how I find it completely and utterly disrespectful how Eels fans treat him, their own player. Again, there's enough people that are going to come out and absolutely slap your team. I'm not going to defend your team and nobody else is going to defend your team. You need to defend your team. So, people need to really kind of loosen up on Jacob Arthur quite a bit because he actually was asked by a fan to sign the jersey or whatever, and he asked them, are you sure? And if a player's saying that, then that means that he's not mentally exactly right with the team and he's struggling dramatically. And I feel for him. I don't believe that he deserves the criticism that he gets. I just feel like it's Eels fans who are so desperate for success, who have gone 38 years now without success, that they're now taking it out on individual players like that. And it's unfortunate to see that for Jacob Arthur, and I hope he keeps cracking on, because I don't think he's as bad as a player that they're making out to be. I don't think he's a good player. I'm not going to sit here and, fuel the fire of him being a great player, but I don't believe he deserves as much heavily criticism as he does, because the Eels as a whole are not great right now. And if you look back at that grand final last year, came on for a little bit, it's probably their best player in a team that absolutely got flogged. So, yeah, it's rough to see what Jacob Arthur's going through. Cocomelon Rules is Matt Dewey underrated. Medvedev says Para fans are more desperate at this point with having Hands in. They're desperate because Hodgson hasn't been fantastic. John McGrath says hard to go past the Rabbits on the weekend. They weren't great, however, they still won comfortably. Yeah, they weren't great, still won comfortably. Yeah, that's why I've gone the Rabbitohs here. That's why I've gone. But, it does have an ambush for the Eels all over it, but I do think the Rabbitohs win this game, yeah. Star Wars fan says they won't sack Brad Arthur because that means Trent Barrett comes in. Trent Barrett, God help your soul. Bless up, Paramata. Oh, no. Oh, no. Trent Barrett. My goodness me. I'd rather Dasmate as coach. As coach. If it was between for Dasmate or Trent Barrett for the coach of the Gold Coast Titans, I'm taking neither of them and I'm running the opposite direction. But I would take Dasmate over Trent Barrett. I'd do it. Rabbit Fire Tip says no top 8 for the Eels. If they lose this game, it's going to be really, really tough, but I'm not wiping anybody out just yet. I'm wiping a couple teams out, but I'm not wiping anybody completely out just yet. Ryson says Eels fans still think they're making the finals this year. I don't think it's completely out of the question, but I am struggling. If they lose this game well, I'll probably wipe them out. If they compete in this game, I wouldn't wipe them out just yet. Bracken Mills says Trent Barrett's to blame for the Eels' woes this year. Trent Barrett is to blame for everything that has ever existed in the entire history of the planet Earth. That is all his fault, alongside Anthony Milford. John McGrath, to be fair with Arthur, he hasn't had much time in the starting team. He hasn't, and he's a halfback, and halfbacks need time. Spinal members need time to really prove themselves. You don't just come in and just absolutely kill it and then just constantly kill it. Like, you're going to have your ups and downs. Someone says, how Trent Barrett still gets considered for coaching jobs besides me, assistant coach at best. I think that he should be a McDonald's worker at best. All right, let's move now into the Saturday games, which is the Cronulla Sharkies taking on the Newcastle Knights. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new around here. But the Cronulla Sharks from the Dharawal and Gwalgal region, they are 4th place right now, with the Newcastle Knights being the Awabakal region, which is 11th for the Newcastle Knights. The Sharkies are $1.35, while the Knights are $3.25, and this is at Coffs Harbour. This isn't at Sharky Park. This is at Coffs Harbour, which was where the Titans played the Sharkies last year. It's a fine stadium, nothing too spectacular, but it's a nice little away trip there at Coffs for a nice little stopover. But the Sharkies coming to this game in 4th position, probably feeling like they're underwhelming on what they expected so far this season. They would be expecting to go a bit higher than 4th position. They want to be challenging the Rabbitohs up there in 1st position. And absolutely have the team to do that, but just have been very slow to stop and played Manly, won the game, but also didn't win the game convincingly. Manly do have a bogey team kind of feel. They have for a very long time against the Sharkies. I think it's been broken the last couple of years, but overall Manly usually beat the Sharks and well at Brookvale. They've always just had something over the Sharkies, but the Sharks were able to get a job done there, and luckily for them, they're still in 4th, and just 2 points up the top of the table. There is literally 2 or 4 points separating 1st from 10th right now. So it's a very, very close and compacted table. That's why a loss in any game is dramatic. It really is. It's dramatic. You cannot lose any game, regardless of how high you are. Because the Rabbitohs, they're in 1st place right now, but they're only 4 points above 10th. So it only takes a couple of slip-ups and they're back down towards that bottom area of the 8 or even out of the 8, which I don't believe happens, but it just shows you that you need to win every game, which sounds obvious, but this year, very much so. Newcastle Knights, they come into this game after putting a score past the Titans. Didn't give up a big score, however. They did score 46 points, and the Titans scored 26 points. So the Knights defensively still not there. Attacking-wise, was it the Titans or was it the Knights? I think Kalaponga had a great game there. It was really good to see him obviously fire up. And he's obviously going to get that number 1 spot for Queensland. It'd be silly of Billy Slater to not pick him. Not based on that one game, but we just know how quality Kalaponga is, and it's all about loyalty there. The Knights is still not that great of a team for me. It just, obviously the Titans just can't defend for shit right now. I'm a Titans fan. I love these boys. I back them in all the time. I'm there every single week, but it's not rocket science. They know that our team's not defensively good, and obviously the Knights found that out the easy way as well by putting a score past us in the second half. And I think that it really also comes down to the Titans always giving up a try just before half time, which is what happened. But I still don't really rate the Knights a great deal. I still think that they're pretty average. And I feel like the Sharkies should put a score through them here because their defense is still not up to it. It's still not up to it. But look, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong there. For the Sharkies here, let's go into the team lines. I was going to say something about McDonald Stadium, but I'm not going to say it. The Sharkies here, Braden Hamlin-Welly, Daniel Atkinson, Jaden Burrell, Jesse Colquhoun, and Oregon Kafusi come in with Cameron McInnes going out. William Kennedy is the fullback. Cameron McInnes has been actually pretty good this season, in my personal opinion, especially with Dal Finucane being not in the team. So that's a big loss there, actually, in my opinion. William Kennedy is a fullback with Sonny Katoa and Ronaldo Mulatalo are the wingers. Jesse Ramian and Connor Tracy are the centres. You've got Manny Mon as the 5'8", Nico Hines as the halfback. Is there rain forecast for Sydney on Saturday? Because that is when I captain that sexy man with his wet hair. If it's not wet hair, I'm not captaining him. I refuse. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I will not do it. Is it meant to be rain? Is it meant to be rain? Good. I'm captaining him. Alright, so Oregon Kafusi and Royce Hunt is the front row. Blake Bradley's the number 9. Brenton Nakora and Teague Wilton back row. And then Dal Finucane is the captain and the lock. Good to see him there. Braden Trindle, Jack Williams, Wade Graham, and Thomas Hazelton are the interchange. Hazelton's been good. With Daniel Atkinson, Mawene Hiroti, Braden Hamlin-Welly, Jesse Colquhoun, and Jaden Burrell as the reserves. So, Pretty straightforward. Sharkies team again. Really shouldn't be losing this game. Should not be losing that game, especially with that back line of Will Kennedy, Katoa, Raymond, Tracy. There's no Cesar Talakai, but overall, still Colin Tracy is a sneaky little player. Ronaldo Mortalo and Hines. Maybe not Moreland, but Moreland's still fine. The Sharkies team should be winning. Maybe the Knights now, Adam Clune, Enaro Tuala, Heimel Hunt, Jack Johnson, Simi Sasangi coming in, with Dylan Lucas being out. Lachlan Miller is the fullback, with Dominic Young and Greg Martiu on the wings. Dane Gagai and Brabham Best are the centres. You've got Kalen Ponga as the 5'8" and the captain. Jackson Hastings is the halfback, with Daniel Saifidi and Jack Hetherington front row. Phoenix Crossland is the number 9. Tyson Frizzell, Lachlan Fitzgibbon back row. Leo Thompson is the lock, with Tyson Gamble, Jacob Saifidi, Adam Elliott, and Matt Croker interchange. Jack Johns, Enaro Tuala, Adam Clune, Heimel Hunt, and Simi Sasangi as the reserves. I'm going to take the Sharks here, and I'm going to take the Sharks 13+. I'm going to take the Sharks 13+ here. I think they won this game very, very well. I think the Knights obviously very much benefited from having the bye as well against the Titans, and were able to absolutely pump through in the second half, alongside the fact that the Titans have that really weak defense, especially in second halves. I feel like the Sharkies are just a more rounded team. I think they're a better team. I think they're going to put a score on here. And I think that if it's wet, then Nico Hines is going to actually slap it down. But then again, the Sharkies actually have a bit of a knack for doing something similar to the Gold Coast Titans, where they look like they're complacent. They look complacent at times. I don't think the Titans is complacency. I think that there's just maybe fitness issues or something like that. Or just, I don't know what happens. No one knows what happens realistically. But with the Sharkies, it just seems like they become complacent at times. So, I don't know. I'm going to take the Sharkies here 13+. I think they should win this game pretty well. I think they should. But the Sharks do have that tendency to knock it off. It happened against Manly as well. It did happen against Manly as well. Actually, did I tip him? Did I actually click the tip? I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. I did. Don't worry about me. I'm just crazy. I'm just drunk. I'm drunk off life, mate. Drunk off life. Michael Lee is the Sharks win by 26. Well, at least he's on the same page as I am. Brighton says, Knights might give him a touch-up. Knights might give them a touch-up. Don't hate the upset. Wowee. I'm very not on the same page as you. Very much not on the same page as you. John McGrath, Frizzell, Smokey for Origin. I don't think there's room for him, man. Like Brighton said there, I think that he's had his time, and although I think he's been phenomenal for the Knights this season, I still don't think he's going to get in there over the likes of young guys like Olakuatu. You've also got Kolomatane can't play. But the fact of the matter is that Hudson Young. I don't think that Frizzell gets it, but he's a great player. He is a great player. Like there is some space for him, I guess, but I don't think he gets in. I think Frizzell has way too much better competition to be considered for Origin. I agree, Rice them. The Titans should take a game to Coffs. I agree. It's not that far away. It's like 3 hours of drive. I went there last year. Great away trip. Really fun away trip there. I know we lost the game, but then again, that happens more often than not on away trips from the Titans. But I agree with you here. Like if the Titans to take a game away to like somewhere else, it's not going to be anywhere besides early Coffs, because that's the closest place besides maybe Toowoomba. But I don't want to take a away game to Toowoomba. I want to take it to Coffs and go, that's a nice place. Nice, beautiful place there. John Gideon says, lately Eels lost their trust in themselves. Maybe coach has something to do with their performance. Maybe. John McGrath says, I believe you need to pick informed players. No, you don't. That's not what Origin's about. Michael Lins, will you do your prediction for the Origin teams? We might jump on early tomorrow or something like that. Maybe jump on early on a different stream and then jump into that Broncos Panthers one after. Maybe at 5 p.m. I'll do a Origin team prediction from 5 till 6, and then I'll do my NRL stream at 7 till 10. Maybe we'll do that. We will do that. Someone says McDonald's Stadium. Oh yes, fancy name for a library. Oh bro, okay. You know what? Because you've commented that, I'm going to actually make what I'm going to say. Fancy name for a library. I have never been so disappointed in a home crowd. Like it was literally depressing being at that stadium. I've never experienced such an absolutely poor crowd. Not in regards to like people swearing or going at it, because I didn't hear anything. Like they were so quiet. They scored 46 points. 46 points, and you didn't hear a peep out of them. Like, it was actually, I was looking at Antonio, and I was like, bro, this is boring. Like, the stadium atmosphere was dead set boring. Even when it was like 12-12, when it was close, they scored a try, I was louder than them. Like, ask anybody there, people, Knights fans, will come up to me from the other side of the stadium who watch the channel. They were like, oh, we can hear you from the other side of the stadium. If you can hear me from the other side of the stadium, then there is something wrong with your atmosphere. I just want to throw that out there, especially when I am the away fan. Like, it's crazy how quiet that stadium was. And I've always heard Knights have the great atmosphere. Everyone loves it. They get around it. I know Newcastle fans are passionate, but man, I tell you what, I've been to Like Up this season, I don't say Dairy Farmers, Queensland Country Bank Stadium, Suncorp multiple times, went to Cogra, obviously, and Cogra's not a great stadium for me personally either. Oh, no, it wasn't Cogra, was it? I was Cogra. You know, I've been to all these different places. And yet I say that Newcastle in the last... I think that was the worst atmosphere I've ever experienced in sport. I just want to throw that out there. No hate towards the Newcastle Knights, but holy shit. Like, please, fans, support your team. Can you scream and shout and shake it all about, for the love of God, because that was dreadful. Brian says, game 1, you didn't pick Jake or Adokar because both weren't in great form at the time. Will NRL says Sharks 1 at 12. Bracken Mills says Knights don't have the defense to hold the attacking Sharks. Easy 13+. I agree. I think it should be. I don't know about easy 13+, but I think the Sharks definitely have the ability to absolutely put a score past them here. Ryan says it's easy to hear the Titans chant during the game. Could you hear it on TV? Could you? Like, could you hear us chanting on TV? That's sad if that's the case. Like, really. Ryan says, Gagai hasn't been in the best form for a couple of years, but always brings in an origin when he's selected. Yeah. I don't know if he gets in this year, but that's more so due to age rather than anything else. Just imagine if Dragons beat the Roosters this round, considering the drama of the Dragons. Yeah, well, I tipped the Dragons. I tipped them. I tipped the Dragons. I went for the upset there. So I'm going to go Sharkies 13+ here. Good luck to the Knights. Hopefully, we can hear you on TV most of the time, Dasmate says. That's funny. That's funny. You can hear me on TV most of the time. Well, Dasmate, don't worry, sir. You'll hear me on Sunday, live and free, my friend. You'll hear me on Sunday at the Core Stadium, live and free, baby. Come on, sir. Come on. I'm coming for you, Dasmate. You individually. And Star Wars fanboy. And anyone else is a Dogs fan. You know what? No individual. Just I'm going to come for you. There you go. All good fun. But let's move into the next game here, which is the West Tigers taking on the North Queensland Cowboys. Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Absolutely slap it. The West Tigers are from the Dutherwell and Eora region. They are in 17th place right now, whilst the North Queensland Cowboys are the Walgorokaba and Bindale region, which is 13th place for them. Tigers are $2.35 underdogs, with the Cowboys being $1.60, and I think that's relatively fair. I think that you probably should lean with the Cowboys based off of what we know from last year, even though that's relatively nostalgic there. However, the Cowboys do have a better team on paper as a more rounded team, rather than the Tigers that are very forward-dominated, in my personal opinion. The Tigers from this game after getting beaten by the Rabbitohs there. The Rabbitohs were the better team, but the Tigers did give up a pretty good fight. Were 2 wins in a row before that, where they beat the Panthers in dreadful conditions. And and then I think the Dragons. Yeah, it was the Dragons in the Magic Round. The Tigers are still not that great. Like, let's not lie to anyone here. The Tigers are still just not that great. But then again, they got up against a team here in the North Queensland Cowboys that I still don't think are that fantastic this season either. I think they've had a pretty good run here where they took on the Roosters and slapped them. And the Roosters have obviously clearly got a lot of problems right now as a team. And then obviously the Cowboys went and beat the Dragons. It's like, well, what did you do? The Dragons were 0-5 going into that game. So for me, the Cowboys still aren't going to prove anything for me against the Tigers. I want to see them against like teams like the Rabbitohs or teams like the Broncos again, or even an attacking team like the Titans, to be completely fair, because the Titans were doing them in until AJ Brimson and Kieran Foran got injured in the 30th minute at the exact same time, and then the whole team went out of whack. Put them up against a Panthers team, or put them up against all these other those really big teams, and I feel like the Cowboys still struggle. So yeah, they go up against the Tigers here. Realistically, you should be looking at them as a win. But with this being the last ever game at Leichhardt Oval for the foreseeable future, it really does bring it into... it makes it harder than you would think, because Leichhardt is a place that the Tigers usually suck at. But the Tigers are playing their potentially last ever game at Leichhardt Oval, which will make it incredibly difficult to see them giving this one up. If they give this one up, that's depressing, because I remember I was there this season. The Titans beat them there. They then played, I think, maybe the Bulldogs or someone. I think it was, no, maybe the Knights, and then they beat the Knights beat them. The Tigers have a dreadful record at Leichhardt, ever. They always do. So hard to tip them, but also hard to tip against them with that, especially considering that they were not that bad against the Rabbitohs. Let's get into the two team lineups here. ATOC, James, Alex Seafarth, Dame Laurie, and Justin Matamua come in with no one being out. Jareen Buller, been really good. He's the fullback with David Nofaluma and Junior Tupou on the wings. You got Tommy Talau and Stafford Toa as the centres. Brandon Wakeham is the 5'8". Luke Brooks is the halfback with Stefano Utukamanu and David Clement front row. At beside Conway Sau is the number 9. Isaiah Papali'i and John Bateman is the back row with Whenua Pole as the lock. Jake Simpkin, Joe Offagangawi, Alex Twal and Atul Kepoa as the interchange with Alex Seafarth, Sean Ballor, Justin Matamua, Dane Laurie and ATC James as the reserves. This Tigers team is what we expect. This is what they went into the season effectively with. And, if you thought the Tigers were a good team pre-season, then you realistically should be backing them in right now. Because a lot of people had them for the 8, which was insane. It was monumentally insane pre-season. But... people, it's free to dream. It's free to dream. But let's move on now to the Cowboys. Ben Hampton, Riley Price, Sammy McIntyre, my boy! Sammy Mack! Come back, Sammy Mack. Yeah, he left the Gold Coast Titans. He's now at the North Queensland Cowboys. You know, nothing but love for the man. Nothing but love for the man that is Sammy McIntyre. I told him, though, I did tell him on Instagram yesterday, it's all love, but don't you score against us, Sammy. So don't you score against us, Sammy. Rhonda, a good friend of mine, obviously, in the front line, she loved Sammy McIntyre. So, yeah, sad there for the Titans, but obviously Cowboys pick up a good one there, who's a really hard worker. Sylvester Namo and Zach Labour are the ins, with the Jermaine Tanel-Brown being the out. Just want to repeat, Sammy McIntyre, come back. Scott Drinkwater is the fullback with Kyle Felt and Murray Talangi on the wings. Patahiku and Valentine Holmes as the centres. You got Tom Dearden as the 5'8", Chad Townsend as the captain, he's the halfback, with John McLean and Cohen Hess front row, Reece Robson number 9, Harlan Lukey, Jack Kosiewski out of the back row with Ruben Cotter as the lock, Jake Granville, Mitchell Dunn, Riley Price and Kulakefu Finifuaki as the interchange, Zach Labour, Ben Hampton, Sylvester Namo, Brendan Elliott and Sam McIntyre. That's the final reserve, mate. Even me, Sammy Mack, why'd you have to go? I'm going to go the upset here. I'm going to say that because it's the last game ever at Leichhardt, I'm going to go the Tigers. That's literally the only reason. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like the Tigers will be really red hot up for this one. I don't think the Cowboys are anything spectacular. I don't think that's really surprising to hear from most people. I do think the Cowboys have a better team on paper, but I think that this game will mean a lot here to the Tigers faithful. And considering that they do have a little bit of form coming into this game, besides that Rabbitohs game, but I think the Rabbitohs game for the Tigers was also still a bit of a positive, realistically, that they held in for so long before they got done over in the end. I think that the Tigers will still gain some momentum from that, and they'll feel like they're still well and truly within touch of really making a bit of a push in this middle part of the season. So I'm going to have the Tigers here, although the Cowboys have the absolute ability to win 13+. I just want to throw this out there. The Cowboys have the absolute ability to win this game 13+. The Tigers have the absolute ability to lose this game by 100 points to 0. But also, I just feel like a final game at the stadium, passionate fans there, deserve better as fans, but I just feel like this is a game that they can win. I feel like it's a game that they can win and put themselves actually out of bottom spot. They would put themselves out of bottom spot unless the Dragons beat the Roosters. Actually, I think they might go above somebody else. I think if the Titans beat the Dogs would go to last. Assuming the Dragons beat the Roosters and the Tigers beat the Cowboys, the Bulldogs would be last until they lose to the Titans and then obviously stay there. But I'm going to take Tigers here in a surprise one. I'm going to take the Tigers. I don't know what people are going. I guarantee a lot of people probably took the Cowboys, but I just feel like the Tigers could be up for this one. Tony says Tigers 13+. Brooks will have a blinder. Tigers 13+ is a big call though. Scott John says, Brooks 200 game. Wow, it is all actually falling in line. I didn't know that, Scott. Brooks 200 game is pretty big there. 200 games at Leichhardt. Last game of that's going to be at Leichhardt for the foreseeable future. Dearing me. He says, hopefully 12 can score. Oh, can you imagine the scenes at Leichhardt? Everyone will run on the field. It will be a field rush. It will be a crowd rush for sure, 100%. This is the prime, perfect time for Alex Twal to score a try. I tell you what, if he scores a try here, rugby league, how good is it? How good is it? It's written in the stars. Tigers fan, get out of the game, you cats. It better be sold out, Daz, mate. It really better be sold out. Tigers fans, you better get to that game. Salvas fan says this game has 12 try written all over it. Oh my God. It's something else. It's something else. It gets you going. A 12 try, I'm putting money on it. No, I'm not. But I want to put money on it, but I'm not. But I want to put money on it. Rice says if both Tigers and Dragons lose this week and Dragons lose next week, Tigers will push Dragons to 17 thanks to a bye. If the Dragons lose this week and the Tigers win this week and the Bulldogs, they're not going to win. But if there's some miracle that happens in Canterbury and the Bulldog win, then yes, that's what would happen. The Dragons would go to last place. But I don't believe that happens, to be fair. I don't believe that happens. Someone says, Eels want big offer. They do, yeah. They do want big offer from Gowie. Brighton says, 12 first try. Now that's the real man's bet. First try. I think I'm done. I'm done with rugby league. I'm finished. I've completed it. Mate. Boys, is there any reason why he left the Titans? I just don't think he was getting as much of a crack as he probably deserved. I think that obviously we've got some good depth there and he wasn't getting the go. And I feel like Sammy Mack worked hard enough and another team wanted him and I think he went. There's no love lost there between him and the Titans. I don't think he wasn't disrespectful to the Titans at all. And if I think a player's disrespectfully left the Titans, you guys know that I will call it out. But I think that Sammy Mack is a great bloke. An absolutely fantastic bloke. Mitchell Rush says Cowboys by 12. Bones Boys says think Cowboys might find some form and smack them up 13 plus. There's an absolutely good chance. Will NRL says Cows by 12 up the Cows. John McGrath says Cowboys by 8. Southern Fanboy says isn't Leichhardt going getting renovated? I'm pretty certain they're getting rid of it. I'm pretty certain that's what I heard. Tony says Papa Lee is going to give Townsend nightmares because I believe that Leichhardt was meant to get renovated and the New South Wales government apparently maybe pulled the funding for it, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. If I'm wrong, let me know. Malcolm says perfect time for Tigers to win. Salvas fan says people don't realise with all these different storylines for the Tigers to win, they're just going to lose such a Tigers thing to do. It is very much so. You are correct. I'm going to go with the storyline, mate. Bit of a romantic myself, a bit of a romantic. And the Tigers are going to do the romantic thing and win in the last seconds through an Alex 12 try. It'll be a field rush like Jason Davis trying the charity match. Like Ball says, because Appy probably has been talking to Twell about his first try this week. Hopefully. Malcolm says, there's Dallas underneath him and Malcolm there, that's why I got confused. Malcolm says, this season's been unpredictable, anyone can win. You're correct. Dallas O'Donoghue says, the Cowboys are back, best team in the league. Okay. Right hand says, wait, who's the captain for the Tigers? Doesn't say on team list for me. I'd assume it would be Appy. It doesn't say it there, but it would be Appy. It has to be Appy. It has to be Appy, sorry. Brighton says, you're going to rip into the Tigers, they get pumped on Brooks 200 the last home game. Oh, Brighton, you know me. I love a good tear. I love a good rip and tear there of the old Tigers. Especially in a game like that, for sure. Yeah. Especially in a game like that. Liam Brighton says Titans winning 13 plus, brother. We'll get to that in a second, Liam, but I agree. Titans are winning 13 plus there. Liam Bryant. You muppet. Don't you never say Bulldogs 13 plus again. You muppet. Gee whiz. What a disrespectful man. You should just go to the corner. Go to the corner. Go to the corner now. You muppet. You are just simply something else. You are just simply something else. All right. Now, let's move on here. Let's move on to the next game here, which is the Redcliffe Dolphins. Take on Melbourne Storm here. Dear me, a lot of weird vibes about this one. I really don't know. Here. But the Dolphins, obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. The Dolphins come to this game as the underdogs, $2.75. The Storm being $1.45. The Dolphins are from the Turrbal, Yagara, Ningi, and Kabi tribe. They're coming into this game in 6th position. The Melbourne Storm, on the other hand, so I'm just going to put my phone on charge here. I hope I didn't just knock my microphone out of place, did I? No, I didn't. Good. I'm just going to chuck my phone on charge-a-runo right now. Bang, done there. Alright, and the Storm from the Warren Jerry tribe, which they are in 5th there. This is at Suncorp Stadium. The Dolphins are obviously coming to this game off of the bye, I believe it is. And the Dolphins have been pretty good this season. They're in 6th position for a reason. However, obviously, it is very, very close. They can fall off pretty quickly. But the Dolphins definitely deserve to be as short as they are. I think the Storm definitely deserve to be favourites, but they should be as short as they are. I do agree with that one. I don't mind the Dolphins for this game, but I don't know if I'll be able to tip them still. Melbourne Storm, I know they've lost, I think, 4 out of their last 5 games at Suncorp Stadium. I know they've lost their last 4 out of 5 of their games at Suncorp Stadium, but the Storm are a very good team, and they are a very good team at Suncorp, and although they come off that game against the Broncos where they won the game, with the deserving winners, they probably should have scored more because there's 3 legitimate tries taken off them. Storm are still a bit shaky, they're definitely not as confident as a team as you would know them to be, realistically, so I don't know. It's not as guaranteed as you would think here in this game between the Dolphins and the Storm. The team list here for the Dolphins: Brenko Lee, Edric Lee, Jesse Bromwich, Kurt Donohoe, Mark Nichols, and Ray Stone come in with Mason Teague and Pawasa Fama-Wasili as the out. Hamisa Tabuai-Fidow is the fullback with Jermaine Sarko and Tessin on the wings. Ewan Aiken and Brenko Lee are the centres. Cody Nikorima is the 5'8", Isaiah Katoa is the halfback with Jesse Bromwich and Kenneth Bromwich as the front rowers, and Jesse is the captain with Jerry Marshall King as the number 9. Felice Kafusi, Canelli Lemielu is the back row with Tom Gilbert as a lock. Crazy to see how many ex-Storm players are there. Jared Wallace, Anthony Milford, Ray Stone, and Herman SAS are the interchange with Mark Nichols, Kurt Donohoe, Edric Lee, Valencia Tefare, and JJ Collins as the reserves. You'd expect that with the Dolphins there. Obviously still missing Sean O'Sullivan, but the Dolphins are pretty much what you would expect in this game, with a lot of ex-Storm players. Actually, let's count them. I guess Brenko Lee is an ex-Storm player, I believe. You've got Jesse Bromwich, you've got Kenneth Bromwich, and you've got Felice Kafusi. Well, they've got A lot of their team that are ex-Storm players there. Jaden Nicarima, Tarek Sims, Tepai Mauroa, and Tyron Wishart coming in with no one being out. The fullback is Nick Meaney with Will Warbrick and Xavier Coates as the wings. Remus Smith and Justin Olam are the centres. Cameron Munster is the 5'8", Jerome Hughes is the halfback with Nelson Asafa-Salamona and Christian Welsh as the front rowers, and Welsh is the captain. You got number 9, Harry Grant with Trent Royero and Elias Kotoa as the back rowers, and Josh King as the lock. Bronson Garlic, Aaron Penne, Tom Eisenhuth, and Tuikami Kamita are the interchange, with Grant Anderson, Tarek Sims, Tepai Moroa, Tyron Wishart, and Jaden Nicarima as the reserves. I am still going to take the Storm here. I'm going to take the Storm here still, although this is a trap game. This is a real trap game, and this could be a Wayne Bennett specialty game, where you feel confident in tipping the Storm, but you realistically shouldn't be confident in shit. That is a Wayne Bennett specialty, and I feel like this has that written all over it, but I also don't think I could tip. I don't think I could tip away from him. I don't think I could tip away from the Storm here, especially at their second home ground of Suncorp Stadium. They're a very good team here normally. So I'm going to take the Storm. I'll go 1-12, but I also think this could be a 13-pluser. But I'll go 1-12 because the Dolphins should be able to give it a crack. The Dolphins will either keep it close or get blown off the park. I don't think the Dolphins blow them off the park, is what I'd say. I don't think they... I don't believe that they blow the Storm off the park. I'm going to take the Storm. I'm going to take the Storm here. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. You can't tell me. You can't tell me not to do it, man. All right, let's go have a look at the chat. Brighton says 6th place Dolphins. Holy dooly. I know it's pretty crazy. Very crazy. Saints says, the Storm. Craig's record against Bennett is unmatched. What's the record? I'm not even too sure. Dasmo says, should have had the game at Belmore at least. I'm not going to be 50 years away from the field. That'd be a terrifying place for me to go. Belmore. I can tell you that right now. I'm pretty happy it's at a core. John McGrath, I think this is the toughest game to pick. Dolphins off the bye. Yeah, I forgot about that. Ooh, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Dolphins off the bye is a big one. That is a real big one. I'm still going to go to the Storm, but that is a big one there. Yeah, you are right. Sam says, Kenny and Jesse can't go anywhere without each other. Yep. Malcolm says, I can't see the Dolphins winning the Storm aren't the goats they were when they muppeted us. I can't see Dolphins winning those Storm aren't the goats they were when they muppeted us. They did muppet you. Liam Brighton, I don't know what I'm talking about. Liam Bryant says, tip the doggies, no way Titans winning. Bro, we're not at the Dogs game yet, bro. Shush, just wait. Now, I'll slap you up in a second, Liam. Just go sit in the naughty corner and just wait for the goddamn game. My goodness me, we're not there yet, bro. Settle down. Dogs are shit. Dasmate says, Macca's has a Felice Kafusi McFlurry I've seen. Really? There you go, Dasmate. Shush. Bailey says, Dolphins 1-12. John McGrath says, I just remember when Dolphins played Cowboys, the ex-Cowboys players stepped up. Might be a thing. Well, that's just how ex-players play against... It's not the Dolphins. It's just ex-players usually get up for a game against their old team to prove them wrong for letting them go. That's just kind of how it goes, really. Bracken says, Craig Bellamy always wins against Wayne Bennett 13+. Is that true? Pretty sure Bennett's only beaten him once or twice. That's crazy. Wow, that is a pretty huge stat. Okay, well, I'm pretty happy to go with Craig Bellamy then, the Melbourne Storm. Especially after re-signing too. That would give them a lot of confidence that he's buying into him again. He could have easily been like, I'm getting too old now, I'm moving on, and you know, that's that. But he re-signed with the club as well, Craig Bellamy. So, yeah, look, I think the Storm should get some real good belief in that and should fire up and pump it up from that. We're going to time you out for 5 minutes there, Liam. Liam, bro, read the room, my guy. Right, wait for the game. Actually, you've just kind of screwed yourself because we're about to get into the game, but you jumped the gun a little bit too early there. But all right, guys, let's move on now. I did tip the Storm there in a good game with the Dolphins. That it's going to be a real fun game to stream on Saturday night. Let's move in now to the Canterbury Bulldogs taking on my Gold Coast Titans. Here, obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new around here. But to clarify here before I do get into this game, obviously, I am a Gold Coast Titans fan. So do understand where I'm coming from. I go to every single game. I'm going to give you a spiel on the Gold Coast Titans, but I'm also going to give you a realistic spiel about where the Canterbury Bulldogs are, who are in 15th, obviously. You've got to just see my perspective. You've got to see where I'm coming from and then apply it to your own perspective. Don't take just completely and 100% my word for it, obviously, because I'm going to obviously tip my boys. It is what it is. You know, you just have to kind of understand that. But just see what I'm saying and then apply it to whatever belief that you do have. But the Canterbury Bulldogs, they are from the Darug Bedialgal tribe, and they're in 15th here, 2-1 underdogs, with the Titans coming in as the Ugamba tribe, and they are 9th position. And $1.80 favourites here. This is at a core stadium in Sydney. Like I said, I will be at this game. The Bulldogs come at this game, and they've just been not great this season. They've given up the most amount of points this season. They're the worst defensive team in the competition, and that's a fact. One of the worst, I think they're third worst for attack. They've really, really struggled overall. And the Dogs are coming up against a team that does know how to really attack, but also doesn't know how to defend. So if the Bulldogs can click attacking wise, then they can score. But if the Bulldogs don't click attacking wise, they're going to lose because the Titans have a genuine solid amount of attack, and they're going up against a Bulldogs team that leaks points like absolutely no tomorrow. So the Dogs are going to have to really be up for this one. And it's good to see that Josh Adokar obviously comes back in. Hopefully he does play. I believe he will play. But this will be a good game. This could be a good game here. Gold Coast Titans obviously come in after the flogging from the Newcastle Knights. Just scored 26 points. They have scored 26 points 5 weeks in a row. So that is a lot of points to be scoring. And it's crazy. It's crazy that they are 2-3 in those. It's crazy that they are 2-3 in those 5 games. But the fact of the matter is that if they could. Oh, jeez, that's my phone going off. That is my phone going off. Give me 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 second here. Everything's all over the place. Everything's all over the place here. There we go. All right, there we go. 26 points in 5 straight games is. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. 26 points in 5 straight games is pretty heavy to score. And like I said, 10 years ago, you'd expect the team to go 5-0 throughout that. Or you would expect the team to go 5-0, but they are 2-3. So yeah, disappointing in regards to the old defense, but overall, I'm very happy with where the attack is. Just need to really not have those second half fade outs. But again, the Titans played a Knights team coming with bye and getting slapped for this whole Barley thing when it was only Brad and Best who went to Barley. So the Knights were absolutely up for that on an ambush at home in Newcastle on a prime day. Too bad their fans didn't support their team as much as they probably should have. Then we go to the Bulldogs team here. Jackson Torpany, Josh Adokar, Kyle Flanagan, Ryan Sutton and Samuel Hughes coming in with Franklin Pele coming out. Hayes Prem is the fullback with Jacob Carraz and Josh Adokar on the wings. Paul Alamonte and Jacob Rillo are the centres. You got Carlo Rapu as the 5'8", Matt Burton as the 7. He's the halfback and the captain. With Max King and Tavita Punga Jr. as the props. Reid Marnie is the hooker. You got Corey Waddle and Jacob Preston as the back row. Harrison Edwards is the lock. With Josh Reynolds, Jaden Okunbor, Samuel Hughes, Raymond Fatala-Mariner interchange, and Blake Wilson, Jackson Torpany, Ryan Sutton, Kyle Flanagan, and Curtis Marin as the reserves there. Dogs don't really have excuses anymore. They've had their players come back into the team. There is still maybe a couple out, but overall everyone's got a couple out. The Bulldogs have no excuses, especially with Josh Adokar coming back into the team. Carraz there now as well. Their backline's pretty solid, except for Hayes Perham, who has been pretty poor recently. Then we go to the Gold Coast Titans here. Aaron Shupmeister comes in alongside Aaron Clark, Ken Mamalo, and Thomas McKaylee, with no one being out. Now, I do believe that we're about to read a player's name out who I don't believe is playing this week. Jaden Campbell's the fullback with Philip Sami and Lofi Adacamprera as the wingers. Now, there is word that Lofi, I can't say anything here, but Lofi has been rested for this game with Aaron Shook coming into the team, which would push Jojo Fafita out to the wing there, where Lofi is. But the centres right now is Brian Kelly and Jojo Fafita, but I do believe that's what they're doing. Jojo to the wing, Aaron Shook into the centre alongside Brian Kelly there, but this is what it has here for now. Kieran Foran is the 5'8", Tanner Boyd is the halfback with Mwaki Fotawaka and Tino Fasul Malawi as the front rowers there, and Tino is the captain. Chris Randall is the number 9, still waiting on Sammy Verrills to come back from injury. Dave Fafita having an incredible season in the back row alongside Joe Stimson, and then Isaac Liu is the lock. Cruz Leeming, Aaron Clark, Khalees Haas, and Joe Werner the interchange with Aaron Shook, who I believe comes in. Thomas McKaylee, Isaac Fasul Malawi, Keanu Kinney, and Ken Mamalo as the reserves. I genuinely am very confident in this game. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm genuinely very confident. Usually I'll say, look, I think this is going to be a close game. I think that there's obviously absolute ability for the Titans to lose this game, but I genuinely believe we're going to get a good win here, a solid win. I think that the Bulldogs have a bottom 3 attack, and I believe that the Bulldogs factually do have the worst defense in the league, and the Titans are a top 4 attacking team. It's just unfortunate that it's second worst for defensive. So if the Dogs can be up for an attack, it'll be an absolute high-scoring shootout, but I'm going to back the boys in, and I'm genuinely confident there's a 13-plus win. I'm genuinely confident in it. So, I know Dogs fans aren't going to agree with that, and they're going to be like, oh, bias this, bias that. But I think if you look at the stats, and I think if you look at how the two teams match up against each other in this game, I think the Titans will be too good for them. So hopefully I'm proven right. If I'm wrong, then so be it. I've been wrong many times this year, but I'll be there every week, regardless. Brighton says Benedict win the only grand final they verse each other in. That counts for something. Saints says Titans 13 plus. ES says Bankstown 1 12. Saints says Titans 26-8. You're giving us another 26-point score, are you? I genuinely believe we score more. John McGrath says Titans have won the last 4 against the Dogs, I think. Incorrect. The last time we played the Dogs was at the Combank Stadium last year and we lost. I think it was 36-26. Oh, there you go. Another 26-point score there. There you go. Brighton says, Titans win, unlucky Dasmate and Ballbag, like ball sacks. Dasmate says, Adokar 5 tries in Indigenous round. Someone says, think Tino is going to run up a score on Supercoach in this game. I would hope so, mate. I hope you're right. Mate. Malcolm says, Wars beat the Dogs twice and Titans beat the Wars, so Titans should win. We haven't played the Wars yet. We haven't played the Warriors. We've beaten you the last 4 times in a row, but we haven't played the Warriors so far this season. I'm not too sure what you're talking about. Michael Ian says Titans by 700. I hope so, man. John McGrath says fair feeder is Titans' best player at the moment. I reckon. How fast is he? Oh, man. How good has he been? He is definitely our best player this season. And yeah, for him, and you guys didn't see this on camera, but Dave did. Dave was throwing up. he ran hard, but he was on the sideline really done. Like, I'm surprised that he kept going in that last 4 or 5 minutes because he was done after that run, eh? But he's a pacey man for the size of him. Bracken Mills says the Titans defense has improved this year and got the attacking talent to flog the Dogs 30+. The Titans defense has improved this year, has it? The Titans defense has improved this year, has it? Brother, we just gave up 46 points. We just gave up 46 points to the Newcastle Knights. We gave up like over 40 points to the Broncos. We gave up 28 points to the Dolphins. Like, no, it hasn't. It's gotten worse, realistically. But hopefully, they can maintain here against a Dogs team that doesn't have a good attack. But the Titans' defense hasn't improved this year. Malcolm says, I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans win. Brighton says, Cat Burton playing for an origin spot or nah. I guess he is playing for an origin spot, but not where he's playing. He's playing in a halfback here. He'd be playing for a centre role there, I guess. But I don't think so, and I don't think he gets a 5'8". He could play for a 14 role, I guess, but I don't think he makes it. I don't think he does. Artie says, is the stuff true about Loffy not playing and Shook coming in? I believe so. Rice says, his Titans special jerseys have been some of the best of the tems. The Indigenous jersey is amazing. He really is, mate. He really is. But when you got people like Preston Campbell and Jaden Campbell around the club that are just, and Brian Kelly as well. We've got some really good Indigenous representation there, and especially with the likes of the Preston Campbell Foundation, which is just an absolutely incredible foundation that you should definitely go and do some research on. Zane Murray says, Titans have scored 26 points in the last 5 games. Thank you, mate. Come on, Dogs. Fox back in just round. Let's go. You're a muppet. Like a ball says Burton's going to put it on Shook's chin. Burton couldn't hit a fly, mate. Burton is a cat. John McGrath says, let's be fair. Last week is the Titans voodoo team in Newcastle, the same for Newcastle and Gold Coast. It's another thing that I didn't say. The Gold Coast, whenever they play Newcastle, always get pumped by a big score. And when Newcastle play on the Gold Coast, the Knights get pumped by a big score. Whoever the home team is in these two games, between these two teams, and unfortunately the Titans don't play the Knights at home this year, but whoever the home team is between those two teams, it's a real big, it's a real big win for the home team. So, yeah, look, a little bit of a hoodoo, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Ket says, hey, Storm and Titans winning this week. Yeah, I've got them both to win. Rice says, do you know the story behind the art of the jersey? Couldn't find anything on it. I don't personally, but I think Jaden Campbell made it. There was a video on the Titans Instagram today, maybe. We would have shared it on the Titans Frontline as well, so go and check out the Titans Frontline on Instagram. But I don't personally know about it, but I definitely will go have a look at it before, obviously, Sunday. And I'm starting to come around to the jersey. I want to get fitter again. When I get fit and ready to rock and roll, then I'll start wearing jerseys again. But for the time being, I'm just... I don't really wear a great deal of jerseys, so we'll give me a few months. Give me a few months, lads. I'm getting tissues if Shook plays. I think Shook will play, bro. I think he will play. But I'm going to take Titans 30+ here. I genuinely believe it. I'm actually genuinely confident here. I'm not just saying this to take the piss. You guys know me. I usually say Titans 1-12, where it's going to be a close game, or the other team has a potential to win. Yes, the other team has a potential to win if they score more than 28 points. They have to be on their attacking game, the Dogs. And I don't think they've got the attack in them unless Adokar just absolutely blitzes it. But he's going up against Philip Sami, who has caught him before and does have a bit of pace himself. All right, we move now into the last game of the round, which is the Canberra Raiders taking on the Manly Seagulls. Guys, let's hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. The Raiders are coming into this game in 7th, while Manly come into this game in 12th. This is at Giro Stadium in Canberra. The Raiders are from the Ngunnawal, Ngambri, and Wiradjuri tribe, whilst Manly are the Kamradigal, Gayamalgal, and Garagal tribes there for Manly. The Raiders come into this game as the favourites at $1.55, with Manly at $2.45. I think Raiders have won 5 in a row, and they're in 7th position right now. They're flying. I don't think the Raiders are a spectacular team, but I think they're doing really well right now with the team that they have, and it's hard to go past them in this game against Manly, who have really, really been poor since the start of the season, where they were second place. I think they were in first place at one stage, and I kept saying to you guys, I think they'll fall off, and they did. But they're not crazy or far away from it, especially with the fact they got that draw against the Knights. But the Raiders, they should be very confident in this game in Canberra. They should be very, very confident to get a win, even though Manly did give it a really good go against the Sharkies at Brookvale. But that's usually a bit of a bogey kind of deal there between those two teams. Manly just usually has it over them, so I guess that's why they made it close. But overall, Manly are not in a great space right now. They've got a lot of players coming in there, a couple of players going out, and the Rays have quite a few players coming in as well. So hopefully it's a good game here at GRO Stadium, but I think I know who I'm going to tip in this one. Brad Schneider, Corey Haramuranara, Danny Levi, Hohepa Puru, James Schiller, and Nick Kotrick come in, with Xavier Savage and Zach Wolfer going out. Big loss there in Xavier Savage. Actually, no, he hasn't been playing this season. Hasn't been playing this season, just the name from the previous season, I guess. Sebastian Chris is the fullback with Abel Hapawade and Jordan Rapado on the wings, Matty Tomoko and Jared Crocker as the captain. They are the centres. Actually, he'd be like 1 or 2 games away now from 300. Jack Whiten for 5'8" with Jamal Fogarty as the halfback. Josh Papali'i and Joseph Tarpany is the front rowers. And Tom Starling is the hooker. You've got Hudson Young and Elliot Whitehead back row. Corey Horsburgh is the lock with Daniel Levi, Emre Gula, Pasami Saulo, and Atamariota as the interchange. The reserves being James Schiller, Hohepa Peru, Brad Schneider, Corey Haramuranara, and Nick Kotrick as the reserves. Raiders should be winning at home. With the team that they've got there, with the fact that they're 5-0, they really should be winning at home here. But a couple of these Manly boys might try and play up for that origin spot. Moving to the Manly team, Ben Condon, Gordon Chenkum-Tong, Jake Boyovich, Josh Schuster, Morgan Boyle, Morgan Harper, and Samuela Fainu are the ins, with Sharon Woods, Josh Aloye, Instagram blocker, and Kelmut Tuelangi going out. Couple big outs there for the Manly team. Tom Boyovich, he's the fullback. With Jason Saab and Ruben Garrick on the wings. Brad Parker and Total Takwala are the centres. You got Josh Schuster coming into that 5'8" role, which will be interesting considering all the flack he's been copping. And then Daly Cherry Evans is the captain and the halfback. You got Taylor Paseka and Sean Kepi is the front row. Lachlan Kroger on the number 9, with Hamolio Kawato and Ben Trebojevic in the back row. I think Trebojevic is a nice little play there for Supercoach for the next 6 weeks to get a bit of a moneymaker realistically, because he's going to get that starting gig while Kelma Tuelangi is out. Jake Trebojevic is that lock. Carl Lawton, Samuela Fainu, Ethan Baltimore, Ben Condon interchange with KO Weeks, Morgan Harper, Cooper Johns, Morgan Boyle, and Gordon Chenkum-Tong as the reserves. I'm going to take the Raiders here. I think at home, if this was at Brookvale, I might have thought differently, but I think at home the Raiders should be too strong here. I can see a World Manly wins. I'm not going to lie to you. I can see a World Manly wins, but I'm going to take the Raiders by 8. I'm going to take the Raiders by 8 there. I do see Manly giving it a good go. You know what? I'm going to make it 4. I'll make it 4. My margin's been pretty good so far this season, so I hope this isn't completely out of it. I guess if this Manly wins, it's not too bad. I think most people will tip Raiders by 13+, but I think Manly will be up for it. And I think that this could be... it could be a surprise. I just think at GRO Stadium, the Raiders will be too good. I'm not going to lie to you. I think at GRO Stadium, the Raiders will be too good. Yes, Gerbo back. Yeah, big one there. Malcolm says, why is it a bye? Does that mean we get no points? That gets 2 points. That means you have to give points back, Malcolm. Yeah. John McGrath, I think the coldness in Canberra plays a factor. Not really. You know, Sydney's not too far off it, mate. It's not like Canberra's cold, but in the same sense, I don't think so. I disagree. I don't think that weather impacts this game. I just think the Raiders have a better lineup realistically. But then, like I was saying, I didn't actually mention this when I was going through the 2-team lineups there. Tom Trbojevic is playing for an origin spot. Cherry Evans is obviously playing to... he's going to get the Queensland 7 regardless, but like he's playing to really maintain that consistency and maintain who he is as a player, because I think he's a great player that people discredit a lot. Muppet of a bloke for what he did to the Titans, but overall, like, he's a good player. And then you got Hamalo Okuatu, trying to put his name forward. But then again, the team would have already been selected by this point, by the time this game plays. So, maybe not. Maybe not. But yeah, I'll take the Raiders here. I don't know why I'm getting a vibe about Manly, eh? I'm getting a weird vibe about Manly winning this game. I'm going to take the Raiders, though. I'm going to take the Raiders. But I'm getting a weird vibe. I don't know what it is. EA says Instagram blocker is a good loss too busy blocking people on Instagram. Correct, Mundo, EA. EA is very correct. Rice says 3 more games for 300. Okay, so after this game, 2 more games. Good on him. John McGrath, do you think Schuster is a risk? I dare say Campbell will throw some traffic his way. I definitely think he's a risk. Love the bloke, but I also think that he's getting thrown into the fire here in a team that's red hot right now in the Raiders. They are red hot at the moment. Charlie Johnson says, Tomoko has been one of the best centres in the comp this year. He's been very good. I've been saying he's a really good centre for years. Not as good as he has been, but I always knew he was a good player. Harry says, Raiders are unbeatable right now. Well, no. They have won 5 in a row and about to make it 6 this weekend against Manly. I think they can beat anyone in the competition except for maybe South. I disagree. I don't think the Raiders are as good as you're making out. But I think the Raiders have had a good run. I think the Raiders have had a very solid run for sure. But I don't think they're as good as you're making out. Bracken Mills says, the Seagulls are a crippled team at the moment and the Raiders are flying, so I think it's a Raiders win. Yeah, I agree. I will say that. I believe you're right. I think that Manly just don't seem to have it right now. And I don't think that the origin period is going to help, especially with losing Jake Trbojevic. They'll probably lose Tom Trbojevic still. You'll lose Cherry Evans, potentially Hamoli Olukwatu. They're going to be in a rabble. They're going to really be in a rabble there. So yeah, look, I think that I think it's going to be a tough one there for Manly. I think it will be. But that's it there, guys. And we're done. Let's go through the tips that we've gone here for this week. Obviously, guys, thumbs up and subscribe. But let's go through the tip-holders for this week. We've got the Panthers to beat the Broncos tomorrow night. Obviously, we will be streaming that game. The Panthers to beat the Broncos there. The Dragons to beat the Roosters in an upset. That'll be a good one. Rabbitohs to beat the Eels, even though I think there's a bit of an ambush potentially. This is a tough game round to pick realistically. Sharks and Knights, I've got the Sharks to win by a decent little bit. The Tigers, I've got an upset over the Cowboys at Leichhardt. Last game at Leichhardt for a very long time, if ever. So I'll take the Tigers. I've got the Storm against the Dolphins, especially with Craig Bellamy's record against Wayne Bennett. Plus, also, I just feel like the Storm are going to be up for it. I've got the Titans convincingly over the Dogs. I know I'm a Titans fan, but I genuinely believe this will be a convincing win. And I have gone the Raiders by 4 points, but I just get a really weird vibe that Manly are going to win that game. I got a really weird vibe that they do. So, remember this. Remember this is Manly win. But I'm going to take the Raiders there, be a little bit more safer. All right, let's see if you've got any other last little questions before I do jump off here. Rice says, surprised that Manly put up that much of a fight in the second half with the Sharks. Sharks are a complacent team, man. They are a complacent team. John McGrath says, do you think Turbo will improve in this game? I hope so, mate. I don't think he's completely fit enough, but in the same sense, a lot of people are doubting him, so maybe he does crack on. Maybe he does crack on for it, but I don't know. Tom Trbojevic doesn't seem like he's the player that he once was, obviously, and I think people are just desperate and hoping and praying that he comes back into the form that he has been in the past. To really pick him up for it. EA says, up the Nulla. Jay Hayes getting around it. Rice says, let's go for Sunday. I hope you have a good day down there. Good luck with the Dog fans. Yeah, the Doggy fans are they're an interesting bunch, man. But they're passionate. As long as they're not aggressive and violent, it doesn't really matter. If they're just passionate and talking shit to me, feel free. But as long as they're not aggressive and violent, everyone just wants to go and watch the footy, be passionate for their team, support their team. There is a difference. There's a way to enjoy the footy and there's a way not to enjoy the footy. People don't understand the ramifications of their actions if they go down that path. But it is what it is. It's like that for every game. Like, obviously, Bulldogs fans can be quite full on. But the fact of the matter is that, nothing's going to stop me from travelling to games, and it shouldn't stop anybody else from travelling to games. Harris, where do you think the Raiders will finish in the ladder at the end of the season? Probably around where they are now, if not a little bit lower. I still don't know if they're consistent enough long term, but they're doing well right now. They are doing well right now. But I'm going to jump off here, guys. I appreciate you as usual. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably doing an Origin team selection at 5 p.m. tomorrow, which will probably go for like a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And then I'll jump off, and then I'll come back on for the stream at 7 p.m. for the Panthers and Broncos game, which should be which should be a good one. Once again, John McGrath says, good luck with the Titans. Hopefully the Knights get louder supporters. Oh, mate, they need something. They need something after what I witnessed. Like, it was dreadful. It really was. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Like I said, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.